Hey guys, Matt here from Matt's Reef Tank. Now, in case you watch my vlogs and other things, then you know exactly where I am. But if you don't know where I am, then maybe this is a good clue. This is Stan from Tidal Gardens. Thank you, Than, for helping me bring Matt's Reef Tank back from the dead for a little bit.
No worries at all. It's about time too.
Yes, we've been friends for quite some time. I've known you how many years?
It's like 3 or 4 years. It was like the weirdest thing. Like this guy that's living in China.
Dude, very odd.
Hits me up out of nowhere. Says that it's like, you know, it's like I like your channel. I want to do something similar. I'm over in China doing this. I'm like, crazy. A couple months later, he's climbing Mount Everest, and I'm like, huh, interesting. For whatever reason, we've been like passing each other, not being able to meet up.
Yeah, in Japan, right?
Once in Japan, once in Detroit, and now finally, now.
I had to literally come and knock on his door. Let me in! Real quick, you've been in business how many years?
About 12 or so. It was just like a side hobby for like the longest time. And then one day I was in business school, wanted to do a business plan competition sort of thing. And eventually this business plan competition raised like 30 grand. And that kind of like launched it into the trajectory of like a real business. It'll be like a real boy. Then one day it's like, you know what, I'm kind of sick of my office gig. And this thing is kind of turning into something, and it basically replaced my income from like being like a business lawyer type. So.
Where would you rather work, in office or here? So these 2 rows are one system?
So this is one
system,
this is one system.
This is 2, then this is 3, and then the next row is 4, and then 5? What is your favorite coral to grow?
That's a good question. A perfect coral for me is something that I think is absolutely beautiful, that I'm super excited about, that can be propagated, and has like a nice high market value.
Okay.
And so something like that would be a really high-end, what's called an acropora. Certain types of blastomusa, which looks like almost like a mushroom, but it's a stony coral. And so some of the rare varieties of that are very cool.
Than is not really focused on fish, right? I mean,
no.
Do you enjoy fish, or is it just you've fallen in love more with corals, or is it you could give or take?
They kind of have jobs around here. So like all the fish that you see basically have some sort of function, whether it's control algae, control pests, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm never one of those that's kind of looking for some crazy, exotic, beautiful fish to add. Okay. And oftentimes, like, fish are jerks. They beat each other up.
They beat up the corals.
Yeah, occasionally they knock stuff over. So, yeah, I try to minimize the fish.
Have you had any problems with aptasia? Like, personally? I mean, do you, like, if you know me, you know if I've had problems with it.
So on this scale, yeah, you're gonna have some aptasia. And the thing is, like, aptasia is really easy to fix. You literally add 1 fish and you're good. But the problem is, sometimes that 1 fish dies. And you adding another one of those fish can be a real challenge because all those other jerk fish in there.
I see some here.
They just kill newcomers. So sometimes it's like, I would love to deal with this little pest problem, but all the other fish that are in there are so well established, they just beat up on the new addition. Yeah, you need a grandfathered in copper banded. Let's talk a little bit about your system. So you have 5,000 gallons. You've got how many pieces of coral here? Oh, thousands. Thousands. You would instantly lose count. If you had to put them on a scale and there was softies on hard coral, what would be the 80-20, I would say. 80 soft, 80 stony. 80 stony, and then 20 soft. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't have thought that would be the case either, but when you actually go to our website, our section for soft coral is remarkably small compared to everything else. It just kind of turned out that way. Stony coral, do you get a better bang for your buck? I think that there's just literally more of them and more types of them in the hobby.
all of this coral, with all of this maintenance, how many people do you have working for you? It's helping you take care of this whole thing.
A couple of full-time people, a couple of part-time people, and then my parents are over here all the time working. So they're my undocumented workers.
You have a system of a protein skimmer, you've got the calcium reactor, you've got a sump, the heavy sump. Each one of these is what, about
these are about
200
150?
150? And did you pipe it all, or did you have somebody design it for you? How did that come about?
No, I've pretty much done all that. So any Frankenstein plumbing mess, that's on me.
Everybody here that watches Dan's videos know that his claim to fame is just the intricate beauty of his corals and the intricate beauty captured on camera. How do you get that? I mean, I can see the black backdrop is something that I've seen a lot of. Do you adjust that in post-production to draw out like the blackness?
A little bit, yeah.
I could tell. It's like, it almost looks like there's a coral standing in the middle of space.
I want to just eliminate all other distraction, I guess. So just being able to appreciate the coral kind of in its own, like that, in just the vacuum of space practically.
This series is going to be 2 parts. There's going to be today, which is just kind of showing you around his greenhouse, and then tomorrow we're going to do a live stream together. But this episode will come out long after the live stream. I'll give you a link to the live stream. But I think one thing tomorrow is, with the cameras and all of that stuff set up, if you really want to see how he takes that really beautiful shot, I'll be showing that from like the outside perspective.
Cool.
And maybe we can do that. That would be fun, something to share. So we won't talk a lot about the techniques behind the capturing. This is more or less showing your setup. The really interesting thing that's got to be with all reefers is where this is headed. Is where is phase 2, you know? And maybe we could we take one more look from the aspect of Matt's reef tank? If you watch the vlog, we've already walked through everything, but I think that we'll look at it from a very specific reef perspective and get an idea. So let's whip around and we'll catch you in the cold of this new secret weapon. Okay, this is phase 2. Phase 2 is how many square feet?
So it's something in the neighborhood of 9,000 or so.
How many square feet's a greenhouse?
1,300.
Oh boy, that's an upgrade. Are you gonna charge ticket prices for people to come and check it out? This thing is just an open palette. It's basically a dream room, but let's kind of put in the infrastructure in our minds.
I plan to put in a lot of work areas along the wall. So you can kind of see where we kind of like carved out spaces for sinks and stuff like that. Because people don't really understand this, okay? They think that that the tanks are the prime real estate whenever you talk about like a big aquaculture facility.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
The sinks are the Hamptons, okay? Sinks and countertop spaces and work areas, that is like the prime real estate.
Yeah.
Tanks are gonna happen wherever they happen, but you cannot mess around with sinks. So we're gonna have 4 sinks in total down here.
Okay.
But basically, if you imagine this whole place carved into quadrants, each quadrant is gonna have its own sink and work areas and everything like that. A lot of our plans are kind of fluid. There's so much that's apt to change. Like just at the greenhouse, for example, when we first started building it, I never thought, you know what I need in this greenhouse? A studio. It was never in the cards. So it's hard to predict everything that you're gonna need when you're doing a new construction like this. So everything that we do is thought with like, what's the most flexible thing just in case something completely different happens?
Right.
So we've got a lot of electrical outlets. We've got a lot of data connections, a lot of Cat6 cables like stringed out through this place. We just don't know exactly what the future holds. Flexibility first, and then we'll kind of like figure it out as it goes. Aside from the work areas, then we're gonna have a walkway, and then we're gonna have our first grouping of tanks. And all of these tanks are gonna be made of glass, and they're likely gonna be custom just because of the size that we're talking about.
Yeah.
but they're going to be every bit of 12 feet by 3 feet by about 18 inches deep, perhaps. And we're just going to string them all the way down to the middle section. Essentially, all the tanks cascade down towards that middle section, and having all the sumps, filtration, all the maintenance-y aspects of it happen all in one place.
So these are going to be long strip tanks. They're going to be broken into how many tank groupings do you think you'll have here?
3 or 4.
Boom, boom, boom. One beyond the stairs?
Yeah, beyond the stairs would be coming.
Will be the last one.
Yeah, coming back this way towards that middle section. Essentially, there's going to be one large grouping of tanks here, and then another large grouping of tanks just on this side of the posts.
Okay.
And then we're going to replicate that 4 times, essentially.
How many gallons do you think it'll be?
That is really up for debate. So, I mean, give or take 10 to 15,000.
What about lighting? Are you going to have lighting coming down from the ceiling?
You may have noticed that in the greenhouse we have these hanging metal fences.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like this little fortuitous thing that we just noticed, that they're incredibly convenient.
Yeah, you can attach different things to them.
You can just like throw.
You can have a power strip on top, or yeah.
Super handy. But I wanted it to look a lot nicer than, metal fences from a hardware store.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to craft some really nice like wooden canopies, but they're essentially floating units.
Yeah.
And then we can install all the electronics and everything like that into these like floating like clouds.
It'll be maybe a solid border around, but a mesh sort of fence on the inside, maybe.
Right. And we can directly mount like controllers, displays, and things like that.
Just need some zip ties, and you can kind of off and on if you want it.
It'll be a very, very streamlined appearance, because there'll just be one cable coming down, and then all of like the snake pit is kind of like hidden.
For sure, for sure. What about your controller systems? You're going to have Apex systems on?
Very likely.
Yeah. You're going to be monitoring, but are you going to be broadcasting? Are you going to be having anything where people outside can see the status of the room? Like, check out Tidal Gardens 24 hours a day, from your home computer.
Possibly.
That might be interesting for somebody.
Yeah, we might be able to set something.
I'd love to take a look. Anything exotic that you think you'll have? Like, do you think you'll have a little Everglades? You know what I mean? You're going to do a mangrove forest anywhere?
One of the architectural features of this place is that we have these large cutout areas.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be cool just to have like a giant tank here, and then grow like a 30-foot mangrove tree.
Yeah.
That you could like see from like the second floor.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So like as you're walking across like this land bridge here, like there's literally giant, Everglades-esque trees.
For sure.
Going straight to the top. One of my big regrets about the greenhouse is we didn't anticipate how much makeup water that we would need, so we only have like a 150-gallon container for doing water changes. That's just simply not enough.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have something close to like 1,000 gallons of fresh water and 1,000 gallons of salt water ready to go at any time here. Whenever we would do a water change, for example, I wanted it just to be like a couple of switches, and the water doesn't have to go very far. It's like 10 feet over there, to the next sump, 10 feet over there. So yeah, again, all the real work should happen in just one enclosed area. I've been a huge T5 fluorescent evangelical when it comes to T5s.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about like this scale,
power consumption and everything.
Bulb replacement costs, the heat generated.
Yeah, you might put some LEDs in there, maybe mix it a little.
So I'm really hoping that there are some LED systems that by that point will be very well vetted, that will be great candidates to do in mass, because it's like we're gonna need like maybe 100 or 2 units. This will be a ton.
So you're gonna have large stands. I mean, your stands are going to go almost the length of the building, except
like
for this middle square. What are you going to do with the stands? Are they open bottom? Are they going to be used for storage, or?
So what we've kind of come up with, just out of the previous facility, which really kind of worked out really nicely for us, was we did a lot with concrete, like cinder blocks. But in between the cinder block pillars, we have pull-outs, like a little work tables and things like that. You can just pull out that have all different types of drawers and things. So it's a combination of worktop and storage of random little knickknacks. And you have that every couple feet, essentially. So it's very utilitarian that way.
Okay, so now we're upstairs. Where are we starting the tour here?
So this is kind of like my baby. This is the most like not reef related portion. I don't have a good studio space for anything. And I can't work inside my house because like my cats jump on my keyboard and like are in my face the whole time.
They are a little rambunctious. Is this where you might do a live show?
I would like to camp out here to do live shows and hopefully be a lot more comfortable for guests to come in. We might have like couches set up and everything like that, and multi-camera systems, everything.
This is where you watch the shuttle take off, but the shuttle takes off out there. Mission control. Houston, we have a problem. There's a leak on tank 4. Okay, sorry, the tour's over. I'm moving into the corner of this room. I'm gonna be his audio-visual guy. All right, so we're leaving the main office area and we're walking into what?
A lot of this upstairs isn't allocated yet. Bathroom. There's going to be a kitchen area because you know people just don't like to walk back and forth into my home kitchen to heat up their lunch or something.
Yeah.
We'll have like a work area. This is going to be a bar for seating.
Now, are you going to have office cubicles here maybe for?
Maybe. I have no formal plans for a huge.
This is huge.
Right? Maybe it's like interns or something, and we can set up some like cubicles and workspaces and just places to print out shipping and packing stuff. There could be a lot of use for this.
All right, the big question for everybody: when do you think you'll finish this project?
I jokingly say when I run out of money, but it's kind of, you know.
Are we looking 10 years out, 5 years out?
No, we're talking like end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By late fall, we should be starting to look at aquariums, hopefully.
Incredible.
Once this is a finalized building that we're really happy with, then we can really do the deep dive into all the aquarium related
Really
stuff.
incredible. Really incredible. Here, let me give you an idea of size. Here, you hold the camera. And just, it's bigger than you think. I mean, that's a lot of space. If you wanted to, you can say glass in this place. That's a lot of space. Okay, cool. That'll be the end.